Hi sewing friends, welcome to my sewing room. My name's Beth, and if you're new, welcome. Today I'm making some tall stars beginning with 6 little 2-inch squares. For my block, I also need 4 squares that are 3 inches. Here are the 2 longer rectangles. They are 3 inches by 5 inches for both sides of my star. And then for the top and bottom, I need these little rectangles that are just a tiny bit bigger than a square. They're 3 inches by 3.5 inches. For my star points, I'm using some green squares that I'll be cutting in half. The smaller ones are 3.5 and the larger ones are 4 inches. First thing I'm going to do for my tall star here is I'm going to put all of my 2-inch squares together, 2 by 2, and then I'll put all 3 sets of 2 together. I had the center of my block made. I started working on my star points. I'll do the smaller star points first. I'm using 4 squares and I will only need 4 triangles. I chose 4 squares that my star points would all be different, and I can use the other 4 leftover triangles for my next block. So I will cut my squares in half diagonally, and I will have 4 different points for these smaller 3 by 3.5 inch rectangles. And I did not mark the rectangles, the background fabric. These star points are sort of free form. I just need to make sure that I'm covering the corner, and the star points also will not touch the top corner. So they're just a little bit shorter than some of the traditional star points that you might see sometimes. So I'm eyeballing it. First I'm going to lay the star point down the way it should look, and then I just kind of turn it upside down right there, and so the triangle is hanging off both ends. I sew along the edge of that triangle, and I fold it open and see if I've covered that area, and this one just barely covered. So I'm going to leave it as is, and I'm going to use the backing as my guide to cut along the excess there, and then I will cut away the back of behind that triangle so I won't have a double layer. So then I'll add my second one, and I'll do that on both the top and the bottom smaller rectangles. Once I did the smaller squares, I took my 4-inch squares and again I cut them in half diagonally, and I'll only use 4 of these triangles in this block, and I'll do the same thing with those longer rectangles. I will cover the corner with my triangles. Once everything is pressed and trimmed, those triangle or those star points are pressed, I will sew my rows together and then I'll get this star block all ready to go. I thought I would mention this piece of fabric right here. It's yellow on the back side. It's a yellow piece of fabric, but I kind of liked the back side a little bit better for this quilt. So sometimes you'll find squares in your stash that may not be the right color on the right side of the fabric, but they might be just fine on the back side of the fabric, and that's what happened with that little 3-inch square. I'm working on some pink stars and some green stars, and let me tell you, I kind of had a hard time choosing my colors this time with this quilt. I've got pink and green right here. I also tried all green with that cream background, and I kind of like that style as well. And last but not least, I tried some gold stars with a blue background, and I think they're all beautiful. I had fun working with my scraps. It's always nice to sew with you. Thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you next time.